This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Good morning. It is 4:27 here on our Wednesday. Thanks for joining our team on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. We begin with a violent overnight. 2 people are dead, others injured after a series of shootings overnight all over the Circle City.
Yeah, our Kelsey Anderson is at one of those scenes on Bolton Avenue. That's near 40th and Arlington. She's going to be breaking down what happened there, as well as at several other scenes across Indianapolis. IMPD very busy responding to these calls for help and also investigating what happened at several of these locations. Again, as Meredith mentioned, we know 2 people are dead at this hour, 4 others hurt in separate shootings. So we're going to break down all the details for you and what you need to know as you're waking up this morning. Another story we'll have for you today is the latest on the coronavirus cases in the state of Indiana. We get these updated from the state health department every day at the noon hour. And so the latest we know are we have at least 440 new cases reported and 14 new deaths here in the Hoosiers state. And we're continuing to keep a total of the cases, the deaths, and these numbers are a little bit higher than what we've seen, but we do know that the total positivity rate that has been decreasing over the past few weeks.
And even though people are still being diagnosed with COVID-19, the need for blood is still very high. We're going to look into what is being done to ensure that blood is safe for those who need it and what you can do to help not only coronavirus patients, but other people who are in need of blood right now. We do want to take a turn here and check in with meteorologist Todd Clausen. Todd, another nice morning out there.
Yeah, you know, it's beautiful, ladies, all across central Indiana. Once again, temperatures nice and comfortable. The humidity still pretty low this morning, and that's the way it's going to stay throughout the entire day. Even though our temperatures for afternoon highs today are going to be a little bit warmer than what we've seen, we are still going to keep the humidity low. So an increase in temperature does not necessarily always mean an increase in humidity. Temperatures currently in the 50s and 60s across the area. You notice Storm Team 6 radar in the center area of your screen, completely quiet, and that's the way it'll be throughout the entire day. There's just a little more in the way of some cloud cover this morning across parts of the area, but that'll burn off very, very quickly. So mostly sunny skies once again today. A couple degrees warmer as we get up to 85 for your afternoon high. That'll put us above normal, but low humidity and also a pretty light wind. So all in all, it's a very nice Wednesday forecast for us. We do have those changes still as we warm up and we bring storms back as we push towards the weekend. More on that coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. We do have an update for you in our Rebound Indiana series. Our Mark Mullins this week has been looking into some financial planning tips and resources to help people who are in need right now, families who are struggling to get through the pandemic. So he's going to be talking about some free help you can get to help manage your money during this time. He'll have all the information for you coming up in the 6 o'clock hour right here on Good Morning Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 4:30, a violent overnight leaves 2 dead and 4 others hurt. The breaking details on multiple shooting investigations across the city.
And 2 Anderson police officers are on administrative leave after allegedly using a chokehold after it was banned. What city leaders are saying about the officers' actions caught on camera.
And the pandemic has left many people out of work, but a major announcement could bring some relief. What you need to know about a new extension for unemployment benefits. 4:30 here on your Wednesday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen joining us from home at this hour. Todd, good morning to you. What can we expect in our Wednesday forecast?
Yeah, good morning, Lauren. Good morning, Meredith, and everybody at home. It's a nice morning for us once again. Temperatures are going to be in the 60s here this morning, and we'll end in the 80s, just like we have the past few days. But the difference is today, the high temperature is going to be a few degrees warmer than it has been. Yesterday's high got up to 83, which is seasonable. Today, we should be getting up to right around 85 degrees. But here are your current temperatures. And again, it's a very nice sleeping overnight period with temperatures in the 50s and 60s, 58 in Bloomington and Greencastle, 64 is the current temperature in Indy. Live look outside, and I did notice when I stuck my head out the door to check the sky like I always do in the morning, and it was a little more in the way of cloud cover out there, but that should burn off very, very quickly. But as we work our way throughout the day today, I talked about this yesterday, this system off to our southeast, and I was going to try to throw some clouds back in our direction. It's a little bit closer, so I think especially eastern portions of the state, you'll go from mostly sunny to partly cloudy throughout the day. today, but overall it's dry still, and it's a very good day for us. 80 degrees by the noon hour, on our way up to a high temperature this afternoon, Lauren, of 85 degrees.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look right now at traffic. We do have a traffic alert for drivers right now on the south side. Take a look at the right side of your screen. You see those flashing lights. This is northbound I-65 here at the south split, the far right lane. We do have a crash cleanup underway. Ambulance there at the scene, as well as police officers in a vehicle, at least one vehicle badly damaged. Looks like a few other vehicles were at the scene, though, as I drove past this area this morning. Not slowing it down too much, but you will have to stay in that left lane as you're getting on the split there. So if you're going on to I-70, those lanes are both open, but if you're trying to continue northbound on I-65, that right lane is closed this morning. We'll continue to monitor this and let you know what's going on here as we learn new details, but just take it slow as you head past crews there this morning. South of downtown, we still have this ongoing construction project at I-65 and Keystone Avenue. Watch for workers as you head through this area, both northbound and southbound today.
A violent night in Indianapolis after 2 people were killed and 4 others hurt in multiple shootings across the city. Metro police say 2 men were shot inside of a car on the northeast side around 1:20 this morning. Officers were called to Bolton Avenue near East 46th Street and Arlington Avenue, where they found a vehicle crashed into some trees. The 2 victims were found dead inside. Police also found a blood trail and believe a 3rd person was in the car. SWAT teams and K-9 units were sent to look for that person. On the northwest side, police say 3 people were shot at a party just before 1 this morning. It happened at a home on Luxembourg Circle West near the I-65 38th Street interchange. A man and woman were taken to the hospital in stable condition. Another victim, a man, was located at a McDonald's on 38th Street. He is now in critical condition. Police are trying to figure out what led up to that shooting. In a separate shooting, another victim was walked into a hospital in serious condition. That location of that shooting scene has not been identified.
At 4:33, 2 Anderson police officers are now on administrative leave after a man appeared to be placed in a chokehold during an arrest over the weekend. A portion of the incident was caught on video, and it has been shared on social media.
What the hey, man, that's my son.
Well, according to police, 21-year-old Spencer Neese was being arrested for resisting law enforcement. Officers were originally in the area on reports of gunshots heard near Noble Street. Police say that's when Officer Brandon Reynolds saw Neese throwing something inside the warehouse. In the video, it appears the officer tried to use a chokehold to pull him to the ground, while Officer Ashley Gravely assisted in the arrest. Earlier, the city of Anderson announced that police could no longer use chokeholds when making an arrest. After viewing the video, the city's mayor and police chief called the incident disturbing and that an investigation is in progress. Neese tells RTV6 that he plans to take legal action against the department and wants to see both officers fired.
The deaths of George Floyd and Rayshard Brooks just a few weeks apart has led to a push for more police de-escalation training. That means a better instruction for officers on how to calm down a tense situation before it turns violent. Lawmakers in several states are calling for departments to do more. Typically, training includes exercises where actors try to provoke officers and they try to use as little force as possible to try to resolve the issue. Officials say the president's executive order that was signed yesterday should help promote agencies that teach these techniques. Vandalism of a Confederate gravesite at Crown Hill Cemetery is under investigation this morning. We reached out to the Veterans Association about this picture you see here. The VA says the substances on the gravestones were described as tar and feathers. A plaque seen on the stones calls this portion of the cemetery the Confederate Mound. According to Crown Hill's website, that's where 1,600 Confederate prisoners of war were buried after they died at Camp Morton. Crews have since cleaned up the mess, but the VA says they are working with law enforcement to identify the person responsible.
It is 4:35. State police are searching for a reckless driver involved in a deadly crash. This one was on I-65 near Edinburgh last night. Police say that a white Chevrolet Cobalt was speeding and weaving in and out when it moved in front of a pickup truck and braked. The truck swerved and hit a semi, causing the pickup to hit the guardrail and roll over. The driver of the pickup was pronounced dead at the scene. The semi driver was not hurt. Anyone with any information on the driver driver of the Cobalt is asked to call state police.
A shooting inside a Northwest Indiana hospital led to the deaths of a retired sheriff's officer and a patient. This happened around 1:15 Tuesday morning at Community Hospital in Munster. The Lake County Sheriff said 2 retired officers working security responded to reports of a psychiatric patient, 22-year-old Jamal Williams, beating a nurse. During a struggle, Williams took a gun from one of the officers and fatally shot him. The other security officer returned fire and killed Williams. The deceased security guard has been identified as 59-year-old Ryan Askew. Police are still investigating.
At 4:36, we now want to get to the very latest on COVID-19 and the outbreak here in Indiana. The State Department of Health has confirmed 440 new cases and 14 new deaths. That brings the total number of cases to 40,786. More than 2,200 Hoosiers have died from the virus since the pandemic began. 363,000 people have been tested so far. 11.2% of those tests have come back positive. And more help is on the way for millions of people who are still out of work due to the pandemic. Some Hoosiers may be eligible for 13 additional weeks of unemployment starting June 28th. The Indiana Department of Workforce Development made this announcement this week. It comes as some people continue to wait for their benefits. Nathan Taylor says he is laid off from his job as a truck driver. He and his girlfriend just moved into a new home and they are expecting a child, which means that going 10 weeks without unemployment benefits has been especially difficult.
It's giving them a call 2 to 3 times a week. And when you actually give an unemployment call, you're not talking to unemployment. You're talking to a third-party agency that ends up dealing with unemployment through emails, getting in contact with GWD. They called me back the next day just to say, we'll give you a call again the following day. I'm not kidding you.
RTV6 reached out to the Department of Workforce Development on Nathan's behalf. Officials told us that some claims require a closer look, which can take longer than 21 days.
Many colleges are asking the president not to expand restrictions for work and student visas. In April, Trump issued a 60-day pause on most visas as a way to open up more jobs to Americans. Now the White House is considering new restrictions that could be announced as early as this week. Universities argue this could actually hurt the economy more. International students bring in more than $40 billion to the U.S. each year. Many often then stay in the country to start a business and then in turn create more jobs. While health officials are warning of a resurgence of COVID-19, Vice President Pence says there is no second wave. Coming up, the latest on the pandemic's impact across the country.
And many people have gotten creative with new products to help you deal with the pandemic. Still ahead, a look at these new inventions and how you can make them yourself. Todd?
And Lauren, it's a nice, comfortable morning for us once again across the area. We're going to take this nice morning and turn it into a nice sunny and seasonable afternoon for you. Clear skies out there right now and a temperature of 64 degrees. We're on our way up to a high of 85, but those high temperatures, they'll continue to rise in the coming days as we get close to 90 by the end of the week. We'll talk all about it coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast.
Hiring Hoosiers only on RTV6.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The time right now is 4:42. We're keeping a close eye on traffic this morning, and we are monitoring a crash cleanup ongoing in the downtown area. This is I-65 and I-70 at the South Split, and you see those flashing lights. Those are on the northbound lanes of I-65 at the South Split, and these are for drivers continuing northbound, not getting on I-70. The right lane is blocked. One left lane does remain open in that area. Just watch for crews out there working. We did have an ambulance at the scene. It looks like it has left the scene at this hour, so it looks like some injuries reported there. We'll continue to keep you updated, but just use caution if this is part of your commute. Well, a new coronavirus projection from the University of Washington forecasts as many as 200,000 deaths from the virus in the U.S. by October.
But today, the vice president is praising President Trump's leadership in the pandemic and downplaying any alarm. ABC's Alex Perche has more from Washington.
This morning, Vice President Pence is downplaying new coronavirus concerns. In an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal titled, "There Isn't a Coronavirus Second Wave," Pence writes, "We are winning the fight against the invisible enemy," adding such panic is overblown. But many health professionals, including Dr. Anthony Fauci, warn the country risks a resurgence in COVID cases if states don't stay vigilant as they reopen. And while the vice president says there is no second wave, cases of the virus are on the rise in at least 20 states, like Florida. Just one day after Miami pressed pause on its reopening plan, the state reported nearly 3,000 new cases Tuesday, the largest single-day spike since the beginning of the pandemic. Governor DeSantis says the state will not shut down again and attributes the spike to increased testing.
We really expanded the drive-through and the walk-up sites, and now we have pop-up sites at retail locations, and that's thousands and thousands and thousands of tests a day.
COVID-19 hospitalizations are up in at least 14 states, including record highs in Arizona, North Carolina, and Texas. There, Governor Greg Abbott insists the state can handle the uptick in patients, but urges younger people to stick to the safety guidelines.
There are certain counties where a majority of the people who are tested positive in that county are under the age of 30. And this typically results from people going to bar-type settings.
There's also new hope for a coronavirus treatment. Doctors at Oxford University say they found the first drug that improves survival rates in the sickest patients. A low-cost common steroid cut the risk of death by 1/3 for patients on ventilators and reduced deaths by 20% for those on oxygen. That steroid is called dexamethasone, and if in fact it can be used, another benefit is its cost. Doctors say it can treat a patient for just $1 a day. Alex Crochet, ABC News, Washington.
Here at 4:45, once a COVID-19 vaccine is approved, the Trump administration says it expects health insurers to cover the cost for people. That means no copays or other charges. Currently, insurers cover vaccines recommended by the CDC under the Affordable Care Act. But the Trump administration has been working to overturn that. The vaccine isn't expected to be available to patients until next year. Hilton says it is cutting 2,100 corporate jobs as it faces the worst crisis in the hotel chain's 101-year history. Analysts report between March and April, only 21% of hotel rooms in the U.S. were occupied. Because of the sharp decline, Hilton says it is also extending previous furloughs and reduced work hours. Corporate is also taking pay cuts for an additional 90 days.
At 4:46, we are seeing a lot of new products coming out related to keeping people safe in public spaces like this one. We've showed you devices like this. It's the Beach Ring, which promotes social distancing. Well, another company called CAD Crowd recently held a design contest to come up with more products like that. So far, all of the designs submitted can be 3D printed.
The no-touch door handles, the no-touch cupboard openers, the no-touch foot-operated door openers, the no-touch, we kind of innovated a design for Uber door handles so you could open it with your elbow or your forearm as opposed to touching it with your hand.
Well, the first place prize went to the hook ring, which can be used to grab, push, and pull things so you don't have to touch them with your hands. There's also a device that you can put around your hand to push buttons. Because of the designs that are open source, people can make them themselves with a 3D printer. You can find the designs on CAD Crowd's website. Pretty creative. All right, here at 4:47, we got to get a check of our midweek forecast. Todd Clausen is standing by from home. Todd, what's behind you right now?
You know, we have a big goose egg, Lauren, a big zero. And you know what that is? The number of 90-degree days that we've had so far this year. We have not had one single 90-degree day here, and we're now in the middle of June, obviously. But we're probably going to get very close, if not change that 0 to a 1 or a 2 in the coming days. Today, though, is not one of those days. Today, temperatures will be very seasonable, and they will be in the mid-80s later on this afternoon. Our average high now 82 to 83 degrees across the area, and you notice we will be above that number here straight across the board all the way through Sunday of next week, and then we'll continue to be pretty warm, it looks like, through the middle of next week as well. But this morning, it's very comfortable out there. We've had great mornings the past few days with great sleeping weather, and then with the dry air mass and the low humidity around, we've been able to warm things up very, very quickly, and today we'll do the same thing. 58 in Bloomington right now, 59 in Greenfield, Greencastle at 58 degrees. Throughout the day today, mostly sunny skies for the most part. Late in the afternoon and the evening, we may bring in a little more in the way of cloud cover, and that's due to that storm system that is off to our east. But high temperatures will be hovering for most of us generally right around the 85-degree mark. And you can see the clouds in that rain. Yesterday, I pointed this out to you with the heavy rain right along the coast, and it continues to spin with its counterclockwise rotation, some clouds towards our area. So for those of you in eastern and southeastern portions of central Indiana, later on this afternoon and this evening, you'll just notice a little more in the way of cloud cover. You're not going to get into any rainfall. You stay dry. Just want to point out that it'll be mostly sunny for most of the area this afternoon. But for those of you to the east, you'll have to deal with just a little bit more in the way of cloud cover later on today. Sunset is at 9:16 this evening. Temperatures will be right around 80 degrees still at 9 p.m. and then overnight tonight we'll fall back down into the 60s, so we'll run a little bit warmer come tomorrow morning, and that's going to result in a little bit warmer of an afternoon as we get up into that 85 to 88 degree category for your high temperature tomorrow. But then once we get to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that's when the heat arrives. The humidity is around as well. It's a little higher. Friday's dry at 90, 92 for the first day of summer. On Saturday with just a chance of a spot storm, and then better storm chances, although they will be scattered in nature, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look right now at traffic as you're heading out there on the roads. This is our INDOT traffic camera at the South Split, I-65 and I-70, where we still have some ongoing work to clean up an earlier crash this morning in the right lane as you're traveling northbound on 65 right there at the Split. So if you're getting on 70, it won't impact you at all. But once you get on that ramp to I-65 northbound, that will block your right lane. So stay to the left and watch for any crews or police out there working this scene right now. Let's take one more live look right now for your commute. This is up on the northeast side, I-465 and I-69. Traffic is moving along up to speed in all directions. No crashes or delays in this spot to slow you down.
More universities are no longer requiring applicants to submit an SAT score, and now that includes Harvard. The Ivy League university says it will not require the test score in 2021. The decision comes after growing criticism that the SAT and ACT standardized tests unfairly penalize students of color. Admissions officers say the pandemic has also created a difficult testing environment for high school students. Harvard's decision is temporary, but many are making the policy permanent. IU and Butler have both already made the score optional.
A new treatment for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder in children may surprise you, and it's a video game. The FDA approved EndeavorRx this week, and the game will be prescription only, and it's aimed at kids between the ages of 8 and 12. To play, the children can steer an avatar through an obstacle course and collect targets for rewards. The game's creator says that it's shown to improve attention function and is used alongside other ADHD treatments.
Ford is planning to reveal its new Bronco on July 9th, and fittingly, that is O.J. Simpson's birthday. Simpson was in a white Ford Bronco as police pursued him in a famous chase in 1994 after charging him with his ex-wife's murder. The slow-speed chase played out on live TV as millions watched. Ford's decision has raised some eyebrows, but the automaker says the debut will go on as planned.
A New York man uncovered quite the surprise as he was renovating an old hotel. A look at the history he discovered that was hiding behind a wall. That story is just after the break.
And RTV6 exclusive new images in the case involving Drejon Reed. Why lawyers say the video helps them in their case after the deadly encounter with IMPD. Our Rafael Sanchez will bring you the story you will only see right here on RTV6 at 6 a.m. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 4:56 on your Wednesday, and here's a look right now at traffic on the north side where things are picking up already. This is I-465 of Union Ditch Road. Everything's traveling smoothly, both eastbound and westbound on 465. We'll continue to keep you updated on any crashes or delays.
A man renovating a historic building in New York State recently uncovered a piece of history he wasn't expecting. Take a look at this. Owner Tom Dix found this century-old Ringling Brothers poster hidden underneath the wall of the Union Hotel near Buffalo. The massive poster advertises the circus making a stop in 1907. It's in great condition still. Dick says he doesn't know how much it's worth, but it has a missing piece because a door was cut into the wall years ago. He says he's going to find a way to preserve it so everyone can appreciate it once the hotel reopens. That is very neat. Wow. That is incredible that
cool.
Weather didn't do anything to it. You know, obviously things were, you know, walls were built around it and everything, and it just stayed in pretty pristine condition. Really cool. All right, Todd, how's our weather looking for our Wednesday?
Nothing cool about our forecast here as we are in the heart of summer. It's pretty seasonable, though, actually, today, but in the coming days going forward, that's when you see the heat is going to start to build in. Friday, potentially our first 90-degree day of the year. 92 on Saturday with the chance of a spot storm, and then better storm chances arrive on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday as we head into next week. The time now is 4:57. Stay with Good Morning Indiana. We're back here in just a couple minutes.